Hey people, it's me again. So, anyways, I've been making a whole lot of recordings about this because it's been on my mind for the past couple of days because it just doesn't seem like it's been 20 years since we had YouTube, you know, as far as that goes, because today is like the 20th anniversary when the first video on YouTube was uploaded, which was me at the zoo. But I think for me, I didn't get on YouTube until it was probably around Thanksgiving. Maybe it was like a day or two after Thanksgiving that year. But it all had to do with the fact that we were gonna take the train to LA, and I think I was wanting to see all the different train videos, and then I ended up stumbling onto YouTube back then, and in a way, how YouTube existed back then was a completely different version of itself because, you know, in terms of like the layout of YouTube, in terms of, you know, how you needed to have the Flash, you know, to use YouTube is another thing, and all these other little things here and there, you know. But I think, as I said before about it, what was YouTube before there was YouTube? It was Newgrounds. And that was just Flash animation, you know. And just like, you know, before there was Facebook, there was MySpace. Before there was MySpace, there was Yahoo Clubs, Yahoo Groups, you know. Before there was Kick and WhatsApp and all that, there was ICQ, AOL Instant Messenger, Yahoo Instant Messenger, you know. As far as that goes, before there was Reddit, you know, there was Dig, but before there was that, there was like the whole news groups and all that. But before there was like group chat and all that sort of thing, there was like, you know, IRC, you know, that was like one of the things there, you know. So, and I think there's a lot of other stuff that came into existence back then, but no longer were back then. But it's interesting to think that YouTube has been around not long, you know, 20 years, you know, because there was a lot of platforms that I've seen over the decades that hadn't even lasted that long, you know, as far as that goes. You know, when it came to like Yahoo Clubs, Yahoo Groups, you know, that lasted for at least almost 10 years, I think. Because I think it was Yahoo Clubs, Yahoo Groups was like, started like maybe around 97, the end of 97, start of 98, I think. And then, you know, that whole thing kept going until maybe around 05-ish of that sort, if I recall correctly. You know, that was because MySpace started to become a thing, you know. And then, of course, at that time, around 05, that was like the peak of MySpace. But then 07 was when, you know, Facebook took over, you know. But there's all this other stuff like, Flickr and all these other places of that sort, but it just feels kind of weird to think that, and then again, there was also before there was Tumblr, there was LiveJournal, was another thing, and how everybody had like a LiveJournal. Even me, I had like a LiveJournal back then, and it just seems kind of weird to think all this sort of stuff has been around that long, So, anyways, I guess that's probably it. So, talk to you guys later.